There's going to be brunch on Easter?
I believe that would be it, yeah.
I think so.
Yes, so
Yes.
same idea, Easter Sunday, plan to be here 15,
Yeah.
20 minutes early, and we'll have brunch, and so you can bring people and tell them, hey, you're going to get free breakfast.
There you go. There you go.
You got this announcement stuff down.
Right?
What?
I said, you have this announcement stuff down.
I do have this announcement stuff down. That's why I wasn't sure it was really worthy of applause earlier. Yeah, so. All right, before, and just to kind of settle me, would you pray with me? God, thank you for the morning so far. Thank you for waking us up. Thank you for your love and your compassion and your mercy and your loving kindness greeting us before we even opened our eyes, before we had our first cup of coffee. Thank you for the calm and the peace that was prayed for earlier that I have already sensed. And God, I just ask that you would help me as I speak now and as people hear me speak now. I ask that you would fully help me to fully place my confidence in your word and in nothing else. I ask that in Jesus' name. So over the past couple of years in hospice, I've put probably 50,000, 60,000 miles on vehicles in 2 years. I put 30,000 miles on my Toyota the 1 year that I worked for Harbor Light. And so as I drive around, you don't notice these things perhaps, but I do. I notice church buildings. And they're massive, and they've got fountains, and they're all made out of brick. And, I honestly, for a while, I was just jealous. Because I looked at the building and I made assumptions about what was happening on the inside of the building. We all do that, right? I mean, you're at the grocery store, you guys with kids, you're at the grocery store, or grandkids, and you see that one perfect mom with the perfect child, and you think to yourself, it must always be that way. And meanwhile, your child is hanging off of your knee, screaming and pulling cereal boxes off the bottom shelf. That's just, we think that way. Not long ago, probably quite a while actually, I kind of let that go. I kind of let the jealousy go, and I didn't, okay, it's a church building. But here recently, I was driving by a particularly large, impressive, stately church. I mean, this was a church that would seat easily 1,000 plus people probably. There was a fountain out front. I mean, it was just extravagant and awesome. And I remembered all those times that I drove past churches and thought, oh, man, boy, I wish I was there. I wish I was pastor there. And God spoke to me, I believe, and reminded me that we are his church. We are fields, as Scott likes to hear now. We are fields. And he is impressed already, simply because we're his. Not because we are impressive, but because we're his. And this was the really cool part. Sooner than we think, I believe that fields will be impressive to those around us. Not because of the building. The Orpheum is awesome. And I don't know if we'll ever have our own building or not. I don't know what that looks like in the future. But I believe that what God spoke to me is that because of you, because we are fields, God is pleased, and God will work through us in a way that will impress people around us, not about the church, not about the building, but about him. Because we will impress because he is impressive. And I am very excited for you to be here today because it is messages like this one, truth that we're going to talk about today, that will take us to that place sooner rather than later. This is a message that I hoped lots of people would be here to see. This is a message that I hope YouTube sees because Nick has been posting these on YouTube. And by the way, find us on Facebook. Fields Church page has a really good reach. So every time we post a teaser for a sermon or an announcement or something like that, like it, share it, And that's how we spread the news of who we are and what we're doing. Find me on Facebook. There are a ton of Jim Reynolds. My background is now the Fields background, and my profile picture is me feeding a giraffe. So just find that and find me. And the last thing I'd ask you to do is, like, if you are excited, if you're enthused about what God is doing at Fields, send me a little note, and I will put it on the Fields page. And I will credit you if you want me to, or I'll leave it anonymous if you don't want me to. But, let's just keep getting word out there that we are alive and well, and things are going good. So, like I said, this is a message that I'm really excited about, because you will hear me say over and over a lot about our identity in Christ, about who we are because of what Jesus has done. Jesus is the hero of every message I preach. It is the thing that I hope people can't get enough of and keep coming back to hear more of. Debbie's back there going, yep, that's why I'm here. It is the thing that I hope people just, because it's the thing that just fed my dry, weary soul 4 years ago. It's the thing that I've set out learning how to speak as well as I possibly can, and I still don't do it really well, but I'm doing it better than I ever did before. And it is the thing that I hope people keep coming back for, because he is the hero. But it's not just to encourage us. It is for messages like this one. Let me remind you, our message is Jesus, our method is ministry, and our motive is the gospel. You will also hear me say those three things over and over and over again, because that is core to who I am, it's core to who we are. So, empty is an invitation, as we talked about last week. But we all maneuver through life with one question. There's one question that just lives right here and affects everything. You ask it so often, you don't even know you're asking it. It's the source of many of our fears, but it's the motive behind many of our best actions. It feeds our insecurities, and it also drives us forward into really good dreams. It helps us achieve our dreams. It causes us to hesitate, to go, and then it causes us to move forward. Here's the question. Do I have enough? Like I said, you ask it so often you don't even know you're asking it. But let me just give you some examples. I gave you one last week. Do I have enough gas? If I miss the Kickapoo exit and then the light comes on, do I have enough gas to get to Galesburg? Do I have enough money to pay the bills? Do I have enough money to make it to Friday? Do I have enough money to buy a cup of coffee? Do I have enough love or forgiveness or grace or understanding to make this relationship work? Do I have enough in retirement? Do I have enough time to make that phone call or write that email or watch that show? Was 2 donuts enough, or should I have 3? Have I had enough coffee this morning to where I can interact with people without prison time, or do I need one more cup, right? And there's not as many kids in the room, but you're thinking the same thing, you just don't know you're thinking it. You're thinking things like, am I good enough to make the team as more than bench player? You're thinking things like, am I smart enough to make mom and dad happy with my grades? Will so-and-so like me? Am I going to get into the right college? Am I enough? For grown-ups, it's the same question. And really, it gets down to, am I enough? I don't know what to do. I don't know if what I do will work. I don't know if what I do will be good enough. I feel like, this is just me sometimes, I feel like I'm a failure at worst and a shot in the dark at best. Right? Like, I might do okay. So we're going to back up into the story of Ruth one more time and pick up on something. And this is audience participation, so you have to talk back. And if you're in the back, I almost invited people forward, which I haven't had to do since the first week I was here. But if you're in the back, you just got to holler because I'm hard of hearing. What do you remember about Boaz? And specifically, How did Boaz bless Ruth? Anybody remember the story well enough, the storyline well enough to know? Took her under his wing. Took her into his workers. Made her one of his workers. Yep. And then also, married her. Redeemed her. What?
Kinsman Redeemer.
Kinsman redeemer. That's what this. Yep. Exactly. What else? He gave her more than what she harvested. Remember, she showed up, she gleaned, and then he gave her more. And then the night of that kind of weird marriage proposal, he gave her 50 pounds of grain. I mean, 50 pounds. She must have just slung it over her shoulder. Well, I don't know how that works. He gave her favor. He told her she could drink from the workers' water. He gave her provision. He gave her protection. He said, stay here, don't go there, stay here. Remember all that? So I want to look at one verse from Ruth. This is the scene right after Ruth begins gleaning, before she catches the eye of Boaz. And this is our introduction to Boaz. It's Ruth 2:4, and I put it on the screen, which is now behind the stand. But I put it on the screen, so if we can put it up there. This is the one verse that we'll look at in Ruth today. Just then, Boaz arrived in Bethlehem and greeted the harvesters. The Lord be with you. The Lord bless you, they called back. It's a wonderful blessing. It feels, I don't know, when I read that, it feels like they've said that to one another hundreds of times. It just feels like kind of a tradition. And it's this thing, they could easily reverse it. Boaz could say, the Lord be with you, because he's also saying, the Lord bless you. It's the same thing. It's interchangeable. Now, a very smart person once said something like, the best thing any of us can do when we are hurting or confused or angry or upset or afraid is to go serve someone else. So, when you're feeling that angst, that tension, that stress, that question of, am I enough? I want to ask you a question. How can we bless others? Because one of the things that we can do when we're feeling that is that we can bless others, and that way we don't think about our own stuff so much. So, how are some ways that we can bless others? Audience participation time again.
Hugs.
Hugs! I love hugs.
Meals.
Meals. Absolutely.
A ride someplace. Everybody's never heard.
You what?
A ride somewhere.
A ride someplace. Awesome. I love it. We're going to attempt to bless Performing Arts Academy by serving them, by moving stuff in. How can we bless people? A note. Maybe some of you kids, how can we be nice to people? That's what we're saying here. How do we bless? How do you be nice to people? Be nice. They are practical in their faith. It is harder than others at times. What? Bake? Make a bed? Obey. Okay. I like all those answers, actually. No matter what you actually said, make your bed, bake, send someone a pie. Peach pie for the summer is really good. Just throwing it out there. Listen to them. Great. Okay. All of these are wonderful answers. And I encourage you to follow through. The world's going to be a better place. If we all made our beds and were nice to each other and baked peach pies for each other, the world would be a nicer place. If we gave rides to each other, if we listened to each other, the world's going to be a better place. But here's the thing. I could have teased this message out for another 20 minutes to fill the time, because I normally go about 30. I could have done that, and we could end right there. Go be a blessing. Go be Jesus people. Go bless beyond yourselves. Go be the church. I could have ended right there. It's accurate, it's truthful, it's challenging. Some of you actually would have thought, all right, let's do that. I'm going to go out and I'm going to do some of those new things. And some of the changes that you make probably would have worked. Some of them probably wouldn't have. Some of them would have been fruitful, some of them wouldn't have. Here's the thing. We could end the message right here, and ironically, I would leave you in the same place that you're in right now. Do I have enough to bless somebody else? Am I nice enough, or do I need more coffee? I would leave you in the same place. Do I have time to bless other people? Am I enough to bless people? And if I'm not, what does that say about me? What's wrong with me? We could have ended the message right there, and tragically, most importantly, we would have missed Jesus entirely. I would have used the Bible. I would have used that verse to lead you away from Jesus. Because if I'm not, and we're not, using the Bible to lead people to Jesus, we actually are leading people away from Jesus. You have to get to Jesus. We could have done that. By the grace of God at work in me, I don't preach that way. I will always attempt to get you to Jesus. I may not always do it right. I may not always do it well. But we're going to get there. Here's the part about Boaz that we have to remember. There were laws in place to do some of what Boaz did. But if Boaz had stuck to the law, none of the blessing happens. The generosity, the sacrifice, the selflessness, the extravagance of what he did, none of that happens if Boaz acts according to the law. None of that happens if he just sets out to bless others. Hear this. We will never love. We will never serve. We will never give. We will never sacrifice. We will never do any of those things as God intended apart from drawing on His grace and His love and His sacrifice and His service. Now that does not mean that if you don't know Jesus, that if He's kind of a foreign concept to you, if you're just kind of like, maybe, if, who knows why you're here, who knows how long you've been in church, I don't know these things, but it's not to say that if you're not a believer, that you can't love, that you can't serve. Some of the best marriages that I have ever known have been between people that don't have, people that reject Jesus as Savior. Unbelievers. Some of the most selfless, sacrificial things I've ever witnessed were done by people that don't know Jesus. All I'm saying is that for those of us that do know Him, we will never love, we will never serve, we will never obey, we will never do all that God intends, as God intends, apart from drawing from Him and not from within ourselves. The problem with always having to be enough is that I find myself eventually pulling from an empty well. I don't have enough. I'm not enough. The only way to serve and love and do what you say you want is to receive from God first and then live it out. See, if Boaz had been trying to bless his workers within himself, he would always at some point come up empty. He would, like us, answer that question with, am I enough? No. Not this time. Didn't have it in me. I was too tired. I was too angry. I didn't have it in me. So listen to his approach. Look at his approach. The Lord be with you, he told his workers. The Lord bless you, they called out. Boaz, out of his relationship with God, became an expression of his with you. He says, the Lord be with you. He became the expression of with you. He put words and feet and sweat and tears and, action to the Lord be with you. He offered grace. And the grace that Boaz offered was sourced in God. The Lord be with you. The Lord bless you. Boaz was not pulling something from within himself. The world constantly tells us, look within your heart. Look within yourself and find what is, best, or whatever. No. Boaz was not pulling from within himself. He was reflecting a grace already given to him. In LaGrange, Missouri, my first church, we started small, actually. We started by, the town had what they call the Grange Appreciation Days. And it was like a local festival. And we found out what vendors weren't selling, which was popcorn. And we gave popcorn away. And one year we gave snow cones away. And we just did that to be a presence in the park. And people began to respond to that. And people began to look at us, and they were excited to have us there, and they were happy to have us there. Kids would come by and get 2 and 3 snow cones that were free, for crying out loud. So, did we just see you? Yeah, well, I want charity this time. Okay. And we became known as these really nice people that did nice things. And it got to the point where we thought about it, and we didn't actually make the t-shirts, but when we started the school supply project, because in the Grange and also in Knoxville, we provided school supplies for roughly 300 students. And we in LaGrange, and we also did in Knoxville, we started putting little cards in there. And the cards read, "We're not nice people." And it had this kind of goofy, happy face on there. It was like, "We're not nice people." In other words, and then on the back or somewhere on there, it also said, because we're not nice. That's not why we're doing this. We're not doing this because we're nice people. We're doing this because God gave to us and we want to give to you. We're doing this because God loves us and we know that God loves us, and so we want to express God's love to you in a practical way. That is what we're talking about. When we bless others, we are taking something we don't have in ourselves. We're taking something where we're saying, I don't have enough. We're taking something from we don't have in ourselves. We're giving a gift from God, and then we're giving it. The Lord bless you. That's what Fields is about. That's what church is about. That's what Christianity is about. There is only one who was ever enough. There is only one who blesses out of his own grace, and his name is Jesus. I also put these verses on the screen because I wanted you to see them. Look at this. From the fullness, actually, take that away for just a second. I got to introduce it. Here's John 1, verse 14. The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. We have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only, who came from the Father, full of grace and truth. John testifies concerning him. He cries out, saying, "This was he of whom I said, he who comes after me has surpassed me, because he was before me." So, John says there is one who came from the Father, speaking of Jesus, who was full of grace and truth. And here's the good news that's offered us. Now we've got to see it. Look at this. From the fullness of his grace, we have all received one blessing after another. For the law was given through Moses, grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. So John says there's one that came from the Father. He was full of grace and truth. He's speaking of Jesus. Can you imagine how full Jesus was of God's grace and truth? Like to the brim and flowing over, right? And then it says, from the fullness of his grace, every single one of us have received grace. Wow. See, if that doesn't get you excited, if that doesn't, as my old preacher used to say, my old pastor used to say, if that doesn't set a fire in you, your wood is wet. This is the best news of all time. His grace. He was full of God's grace, full of God's truth, and he freely gives it to us. And he doesn't just go, little pinch there, little pinch there, little pinch See, no. Look at that verse. From the fullness of His grace, we receive one blessing after another. The only source of grace and blessing is Jesus. There is only one who has ever blessed out of His own grace and His own truth, and His name is Jesus. There is only one who is, always was, always will be enough. His name is Jesus. It's not Jim. It's not Larry, it's not Nick, it's not Deanna. His name is Jesus. There is only one whose well never runs dry. There is only one who can do these things. And He says to those who belong to Him, whoever believes in me, out of his heart will flow rivers of living water. See, we bless by receiving His grace and then passing it on, because it doesn't belong to us anymore. That's what John did. It's what Boaz did when he said to the workers, "The Lord be with you." John, the disciple John, wrote about John the Baptist this. There was a man who was sent from God. His name was John. He came as a witness to testify concerning that light, so that through him all men might believe. He himself was not the light. He came only as a witness to the light. And then later on he writes 1 John. It's a letter to a church. And it says this: that which was from the beginning, which we have heard, which we have seen with our eyes, which we have looked at and our hands have touched, this we proclaim concerning the word of life. The life appeared. We have seen it and testified to it, and we proclaim to you the eternal life, which was with the Father and has appeared to us. We proclaim to you what we have seen and heard, so that you may have fellowship with us. And our fellowship is with the Father and with His Son, Jesus Christ. There is only one who is ever blessed out of His own grace, out of His own self. There is only one who will always be enough. His name is Jesus. Those of us who know Him receive His grace, reflect His grace. Listen, what He has done to you, that's what He wants to do through you. So if you're having trouble loving other people, we can brainstorm all day long about how to love them. We can brainstorm all day long about baking pies and about doing good acts and doing good service. And you can do some of those things, and please do those things. Don't ever hear me say not to. It's so much more effective, so much greater, is to focus on God's love for you, because once you focus on God's love for you, here, it doesn't belong to me anyway. You can have it. We must always be looking outside ourselves to Jesus to receive. We receive, we do. We get, we give. That is a rhythm in the Christian life. To put it another way, when we are feeling inadequate, when we're asking that question, am I enough? We're looking at the wrong source. Or we should just be answering honestly with, nope, I'm not. But I know one who is. We must always be looking outside ourselves to Jesus to receive. This was one of those kind of wow moments for me. Do you realize that you spend a third of your life proving that you aren't God? God never slumbers and never sleeps. So every time we do, we're proving I ain't Him. Do you realize that 3 times a day, and more for some of you, you take something from outside yourself, you put it into yourself, it enters us, it is necessary for life, it gives us life. You eat it. And you realize that every second, you take something from outside yourself, gives you life. This is not foreign. To take from the gifts that God has given us from outside ourselves into ourselves and to give them out, it's not foreign. It's the way God made us. in something as simple as breath. We look to Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith. We receive, we give. It changes everything about your life when you realize how little of it actually belongs to you. You know, if you have trouble with your finances or with tithing or with that kind of thing, tithing is the belief, the truth in the Bible that 10% of our income belongs to, that we willingly give to the church. And then over and above that, we give to other ministries and things like that. If you have trouble with that, it's because you think that all of your money is yours. When you recognize that none of your money is yours, then giving it away is a lot easier. It's less simple. Like I said, forgiveness, everything, anything that you have trouble obeying, look to the work that God has already done. I said that one of the first times that I was here. So here is grace. Here's forgiveness. Here's patience. Here's my money. Here's my time. Here's trust. Here's belief. It isn't mine. You can have it. Here's hope. That even if you reject this through me, even if I mess it up, remember Naomi? Oh, God is bitter against me. God's hand is turned against me. Really? Even if we mess it up, God can and will redeem because that is who He is and what He does. It doesn't come within us, from within us. That is His work alone. Every time I stand here, here is God's word through this sermon. It ain't mine. It's why I don't feel that pressure anymore. It's His word. So, here's the question that some of you might be having. And I love it when you ask questions that are in my notes. What about when that God well runs dry? I mean, basically you're just saying Jesus is the answer. Okay, yeah, great. Thanks for the Sunday school lesson, Pastor. What about when that God well runs deep? What runs it? What about, okay, you know, I'm not loving like I should. I'm not forgiving like I should. I'm not the dad that I should be. I'm not the husband that I should be. I'm not the worker that I should be. I don't have it in me to do all those things. So you're telling me that the answer is to look to God, but I don't feel that either. Well, like I said, I'm glad you asked. Here's the thing, and this is, I love this. I need more people around to remind me of this. But this is what I remind myself of on my best days. When I'm pulling from within myself, I really, really love my kids. I really try to do my best. When I'm pulling from within myself and I fail, what does that bring? Guilt, shame. God, how to do better next time. Pull that book off the shelf and read another 10 ways of how to be a good dad. Right? It ends in guilt, shame, and working harder and trying better. You know, working harder, trying more, doing more. If I'm not loving as I should, because I'm not really sensing it from God to be able to give it out to others, where am I going back to? Go back to Him. So every minute of every day, I get to fail. Not every minute, hopefully. But I'm just saying, throughout your day we fail, and we can either kind of go, oh, God, I gotta do better. I gotta figure this out. Or, let's just use that example of loving. I really blew it with my kid, and I really gotta do better, and I really, or, God, I'm I'm clearly not understanding your love for me because it's weak getting through me. So please show me your love for me. Please show me how much you care for me. Please show me that even though I mess up all the time, that you accept me anyway so that I can accept others who mess up all the time also. See, when we're pulling from ourselves, the end result is guilt and shame and whatever else. When we keep pulling from God, the end result is, I need Him. I can't forgive this person. They hurt me too bad. Please show me how much you forgave me. I can't get over this sin. I can't stop doing this. Please show me how much that cost you. Please show me your victory over that. Do you see how it's an entirely different way than I did it again, I hate myself, I'm never going to get over this. Guilt, shame, old way of living. Hopeless way of living. Gospel-centered, Jesus-soaked, powerful way of living. I blew it again, I'm so sorry. God, show me your forgiveness. Show me your grace. Yeah, I might do it again. Which means I go right back to Him again. God, I didn't love like I should. I didn't forgive like I should. I didn't give like I should. I blew this off. I did. Show me. Just keep showing me. This is why Scripture talks about the fact that we were saved. We are being saved is present tense. And we will be saved. Because, and this is the difference in my life now and my life about 5 years ago. I know I was saved back when I was 11 years old. I know I'm going to heaven someday. But right here and right now, it's just kind of messy. I don't know what to do. But right here, right now, I just keep pulling. I just keep walking in the faith that God gives. I can't call the Scripture right now, but it says, as you received Christ, so walk in Him. It's all by faith. So, to wrap all this up, when we're feeling inadequate, when we're feeling like I'm not enough, we're going from the wrong source. What God intends for us, and the joy and the life, the abundant life that He wants for us, is this. Here. This isn't mine. This is God's. He gave it to me. You can have it. Father God, I just pray and ask that we could live that way. I ask that we could serve that way. I ask that we could love that way. I ask that we could forgive that way. I ask that we could battle sin that way. I ask that we could have marriages that way, parent that way, work that way, give that way, sacrifice that way. Here, this isn't mine. It's God's. You can have it. Help us learn to speak this gospel to one another. Help us remember that all the good news about being in Christ and everything that you accomplished for us is for the purpose of serving in your world. It's to be the church in the fields of life. It's great to know that you're a good Father. It's great to know that we're loved. It's powerfully encouraging. But God, I pray and ask that each one of us would take that extra step and give those truths away to other people. Give that fullness away to other people. It isn't ours. Thank you. Thank you for Give us good news. We pray that in Jesus' name.
Hey guys, just want to say thanks for watching. If you would like to subscribe, you can click the bubble right here. If you want to watch our video from last time, just click right over here. Thank you.